Okay, in this video we'll see the implementation of a D flip-flop using pass transistors. So let us now try to see using NMOS pass transistors. So how do we implement a D flip-flop? So in this case, let us consider a negative edge triggered D flip-flop. So since in the previous cases we considered the transmission gates, so now we shall consider those pass transistor. Since I want to have a pass transistor, let me say this is my pass transistor which is used for sampling, and let me have this as my hold configuration where I can able to hold the things when the clock is actually, this is, let us take it as clock, this is clock bar, and then let me take the output from here and then take it as the input for the slave. Now since it is clock, let this be clock bar, and then let me have again one more this is one more pass transistor which is used to hold the value. Since it is clock bar, this is clock. Now since the output is taken here, it is one complement, and let us make it one more complement, and let me take this as my Q output. This is the Q output. Suppose if you consider this as the D input, and if you simply consider this as node A and node B, if you carefully try to write the waveform, the clock 0 1, and just try to understand how it is negative edge triggered. This is fine. This is clock here. We write the D input which is keep on varying here. This is the D input which is keep changing here. So I'm just indicating that instead of simply taking 0 or 1, so we are thinking of this is keep on changing to any value. So this is my D input which can take any desired value, and if I want to write this as my QM, so when clock is equal to, okay, we are interested in whether it is there in hold mode or this is equal during this 0 M, of course this is 0, this will be 1 now, so M is in hold mode. When I say M, this is the master, whereas this is my slave is in sample mode. This is my sample mode. So since it is in hold mode, so whatever is the value that was there earlier to this, if I say this is my QM, it will go into hold here. And okay, since we don't know what the previous value, let us not write what is QS. So for the timing, let us put it as dotted. So when this clock goes high, so we know that this will go to sampling mode. So this is there in now sampling mode, and this will be there in because now when clock is equal to 1, this is there in sampling mode. Let us see what happens to this output. We'll see whether it is positive edge triggered or negative edge triggered. We'll just try to decide depending on the waveforms. So since this is now QS is, suppose if I say this is in hold mode and this M is in sample mode. So this is there in sample mode. This is now holding. Okay, now you can see this goes to actually this goes to hold mode, and this goes to sample mode. So whatever the value that comes out here, So this is your falling edge. So whatever the value that comes out here, you can see now uh, this is now in hold mode. So this S will go to sample mode, M will go to hold mode. So whatever value that was there at this edge will be get moved on to this. Can you see now this is moved here, and since it is hold, because here we could not properly write it, now you can see it is holding the value. You can see now it is holding the value, and of course this is now in the sample mode. This is now in the sample mode. If you can clearly see this, during the negative edge of the clock, the final output of slave is being modified, of course after that T clock to Q delay, and of course during the positive edge it actually holds it. Of course here also it was actually holding the previous value. You can say it is simply holding the previous value. Only at this point it will have a change. So at this point it will have a, of course this will going to hold it, this will going to hold it. You can see this is now holding the value. So here this is actually sampling the master value. So at this point of time, that is during the negative edge of the clock, so this is actually getting the exact value of your D at the negative edge of the clock will be coming onto your final output of Q, which is nothing but QS here. So this way we can say that using pass transistor also we can able to realize a master slave flip-flop. In this case it is negative edge triggered, because we are starting with the clock bar, and then it's again clock bar and clock. Let us see what happens if there is a overlapping clock. So when I mean, okay, what do I mean by overlapping clock is, because we know that when clock is equal to, suppose if I just write, okay, the meaning of overlap, so we always assume that clock and clock bar are exclusive. So that means to say, if this is 0 and if it is going 1 and if it is something like this, so our expectation is if it is 0, this is exactly 1. When this is 1, this should be 0. This is our expectation. This is 0, 1, this is 1, this is 0. This is perfect clock what we are expecting. But in the real sense, having this type of clock and clock bar is very hard to get it. You may end up with a case where you have this is 0, and then you can see this is now 1. You can see you have something like this. Now this is a clock, the usual clock. Now assume that if your clock bar, which was 1 here, now this is 0, this is 1 here, instead of this coming down here, if it slightly extends, now you can see this is now entirely delayed by some bit, some time. You can see now this is now slightly delayed by this. You can see now this is the time. You can see there is some delay, this is not exactly going down at this point, but it is slightly being delayed. You can see this is happening so also. So of course here this is also an issue. If you carefully note these three things, see here, this is high here, this is also high. When both clock and clock bar both are high, what is the issue that can happen? So what you are trying to do here is, since clock is 1 means you are there in the sampling mode. Since clock bar is also 1 whenever you are sampling, are you there turning this transistor as well as this transistor on simultaneously because of this overlapping period? Because you can see both clock and clock bar are becoming 1 for a small duration of time because of the typical nature of your inverter, because inverter certainly takes some time to make your output 0. Assume that at that point, if you are using clock output and the clock bar output, driving both of them, suppose if clock this and this both are turned on, assume that you had a 0 here, that 0 will come over here, and then this is 0 because of this. Suppose if this is on, this is also on, suppose if it is 1. So are you now trying to make this this is trying to make, of course this A will be trying to make 1 using this D input, but this is also driven by this as 0. So this A node is actually driven by two sources. One is by the input and other is by the hold value. That is, it tries to sample as well as it tries to make this value make this value 0, make this value 1. It's an example. Of course it can be other way also. Suppose if this is 0, if this is also 0, then there is no issue. Suppose if this is 1, if this is 0, you again have an issue. That is one major problem. This node, intermediate node, will be driven by two sources during the overlap period. So that is one issue that has to be avoided, making sure that okay, there is no such overlapping thing. Let us see what happens if both of them are 1 here. Suppose if you see clock and clock bar both are 1, when clock is equal to 1, this is on. You can see the value that comes over here comes over here. Clock bar is also 1, this is also on. If you can see here, whenever you have clock and clock bar both are 1, this pass transistor, both are on. Can you now think of having output is being directly driven by the input like this? See here, for a small duration of time, the output is actually following the input. Why it is following? Because during this overlap period, I have this pass transistor which is driven by clock, this pass transistor which is driven by clock bar, both are on. This QS is actually following the D input. This is called as race condition. So this QS is in race with D. Assume that during this period, during the period of this overlapping, that is when both are 1 1, suppose if your D is keep on changing, during this period, so then this QS also tend to change by the same manner, because during that period the entire pass transistors, both the transistors are on, and the QS is in race with your D input. So if you want to avoid these two problems of race condition is nothing but the output is in race with your D input, that is it tries to change as your D input changes, which should not happen as per your actual thing. Our depending on our requirement, only during the negative edge the output has to change here. Because of this overlap condition, I may end up with a possibility that okay, where you end up with, so during the positive edge, during the clock when it is positive, maybe during this period instead of holding, so this may be keep changing as your D is there, so this is also changing. So that should never occur. Assume that you have an overlapping clock, so during that small portion, so instead of this QS remaining constant, that may just race with your D input, D input, which is not desired. So this problem of race condition and this particular A point being driven by two sources can be avoided if we use a non-overlapping clocks. Instead of having clocks which is something like this 0, instead of having a complementary inputs like a clock and clock bar, we can certainly drive such type of D flip-flops using non-overlapping clocks. So we just see okay, how do we have a non-overlapping clocks to avoid this race around condition, and same node should not be driven by two sources. That we'll see in the next video.